They're doing a co-headlining run after the first of the year. Mid-February, they'll be at the Agora. Those tickets are on sale as of today, I believe, or last week. Bullet for My Valentine at the Agora on October 18th, and Chelsea Handler at Playhouse Square on October the 20th. All of those shows up for grabs for you next week. Actor Ed Begley Jr. is going to join me on the show next week, as well as comedian Stavros Halkias. He is at Playhouse Square next Saturday night, and we'll catch up with him. Netflix is done as of this week. No more mailing out of DVDs. It's hard to believe they went as long as they did. But Netflix has sent out their very last DVD, and they basically told people, hey, if you have movies that we mailed to you and you never returned them, just keep them. We are not in the business of distributing DVDs anymore. They're all done. They have been doing it for a long, long time now. We all remember getting DVDs from Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Before it was streaming. Remember what a big deal streaming was in the Netflix age? When you were like, oh, yeah, I got these DVDs mailed to me. And then Netflix goes, we're going to have a service where all of these DVDs are just going to be on your television. We were like, what?
I was real early on it. I would stream movies on my computer all the time. And then I got a Roku in 2008 or 9, which, you know, Roku was a brand new startup at that time.
Yeah.
But they were only $50, and it's like, I'm going to get one of these and put it on all the TVs in the house.
Sure.
And then we don't have to have, because the kids were the worst with putting a new DVD in and then not putting it back in its case, so they're getting ruined all the time.
Yeah, they're just like sitting on the carpet.
Yeah.
All scratched up.
All scratched up. So I was like, I'm going to get these. It'll help us keep the house more organized, and it would change the world. It was the best.
I bet everybody has.
With that real crappy interface they originally had.
Yeah, that's right. But I bet everybody, or a lot of people, have, present company included, have a Netflix red envelope DVD somewhere. Something that didn't get mailed back. I feel like I've seen one at our... What's that?
I've always sent mine back.
I think I did too, but I feel
you don't
like...
get any more movies if you don't.
I feel like I've seen a Netflix envelope with a DVD in it, like somewhere in a box in our basement. At their peak, they were sending out about 1.5 million DVDs a week. And they had 50 people that worked in their distribution plant and just did 50. That. 50. Now they have 6. There are 6 people left at there's a warehouse with no signs on it down the street from Disneyland. And these were the 6 people that were still working the Netflix DVDs. And it all ends today. They've shut their doors. No more envelopes being mailed out.
Took their jobs.
What?
It took their jobs.
Jobs.
The other night, I was hanging out with some friends, and one of them collects VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And someone found some and brought them to him, and it really got me nostalgic just seeing those and holding them. I was like, man, maybe I'll start collecting VHS tapes. Then I was like, no, because then you need watching a VHS
holder.
Well, yeah, they take up a ton of room, but also you can't watch it on a flat screen TV. That's like cheating. That's like, you need like an old tube TV.
How would you? I don't even know how that would look. A VCR attached to a flat screen TV.
Well, you'd still. What do you mean?
Because it's high definition.
But it's
you'd still see the picture. It just wouldn't. It would just be whatever quality the VHS was.
Yeah, it'd be. I
don't think
like
I've ever
the
seen
sides would be black.
Yeah, your letterbox, top and bottom, and the sides. Netflix started mailing DVDs in 1998. The very first movie they ever shipped out was Beetlejuice. And Rolling Stone, I don't know if you read this, Rolling Stone just did a thing last week of the 50 worst decisions in movie history. They love lists over there. And one of them was when Blockbuster turned down the offer to buy Netflix. Because in its infancy, Netflix didn't know what they were going to do. And Reed Hastings was the guy at the top of Netflix. And Blockbuster was still a big deal. And so they said, hey, we've got this thing with DVDs. We're working some other new things. We'll sell the company to you. And Blockbuster was like, this is never going to go anywhere. People come to us for movies. And Netflix said you can buy us for $50 million, which Blockbuster thought was way too much money. Of course, it would be worth billions now. And Blockbuster has their own streaming thing. The brick and mortar stores are gone, but they have a streaming thing. I don't know if anybody pays attention to it, but
Yeah, I don't think so.
there's Redbox. I mean, people still get Redbox.
Redbox still gets used.
People still
Dude,
walk
I
up and get
know.
Redbox
I can't
DVDs.
believe those things are still around.
Well, because there's a lot of
they
people
come in handy sometimes.
There's a lot of people that don't pay for streaming. They
Yeah.
still have DVD players. Like when we talk about people who don't have smartphones, there's still people who are like, screw that. What do I need a smartphone for? A flip phone's fine.
And sometimes you'll be on vacation or something, and you'll be in an Airbnb, and they don't have streaming.
That's right.
So you end up watching Redbox.
There are more and more hotels, though, that are putting smart TVs in the room.
That can't happen fast enough.
Yeah, where you
because
can go.
I hate having to watch regular TV.
Where you can put in your own Netflix info and it'll bring up everything that you watch.
We kind of make our pitch to them. I go, we think there is great synergy here. We could run your online business. You'd run the stores. This would be a great combination. But they finally said, so what do you think we should pay for you? And I remember when he goes like $50 million. I swear they were all kind of holding a laugh in because they found that so ridiculous. I remember sitting there going, oh God, now we're going to have to kick their ass. You know what the best part is? You know what the best part is.
Yeah, we kick their asses. That's an interesting documentary if you've never seen it. It's called Netflix versus the World. It's from a few years ago. And it's a lot of inside baseball, but it is interesting. But yeah, Blockbuster saying no thanks. And again, nobody knows what anything is going to be. But that Rolling Stone list of the 50 worst decisions in movie history is kind of interesting because it's just a list of what could have been, right? Like Will Smith turned down The Matrix and he turned down Django Unchained. He was offered those roles. And people always go, oh my God, it must drive you crazy. But they might have been completely different movies. Nobody might have cared about Will Smith in Django Unchained. Those were both really good movies.
I think people would have cared about that.
You think so?
I think The Matrix would have been weird with Will Smith because he plays things so comedic.
Yeah.
Whereas...
But he had the Men in Black back then, right?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
That
Men
wasn't
in
funny. So...
But what I'm saying is, like, he was at, I think that's why he turned it down, because it's kind of similar. Like, the costumes were kind of the same.
Men in Black predated The Matrix by like 2 years. Yeah, the first one.
So he's still
maybe you're
riding
right.
off that fame, probably.
And I get what you're saying, though, because it wasn't... it was just kind of a sci-fi genre type thing. And also, he was trying to make... He wasn't really doing a ton of R-rated movies then. I guess he was doing the Bad Boys and stuff. So, I don't know. It would have just been weird with him.
iRobot he was in.
Terrible movie.
I love that movie.
Again, Will Smith did something to me because you get a glimpse of his butt in the shower. And when I tell you
That's all it took.
That's how I discovered that you could slow a frame down on a DVD player. Like, I was like, oh, wait, what's this? Bink. I put it at like 0.1 or something like that.
Nice and slow to see butt cheek.
It was like the full peach. Like, he was just standing in the shower so yeah, that did something.
Well, he was real skinny or just kind of regular until he did Ali, and then he got jacked, and then he kind of kept that muscle on for several years.
What year was Ali? Because he was pretty ripped in iRobot.
Yeah. Ali, I think, was
20 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2002, 2001.
Yeah, he got pretty jacked for that.
Halloween scary movie season. If you want just the right mix of the devil and dirt bikes, you want to go with Race with the Devil, 1975, Peter Fonda. Just some guys and their ladies out on an RV trip doing some RV things along with dirt bikes, and then they happen to run into a murderous satanic cult. It's a classic.
Love Race with the Devil. That's a great grab.
That's given
Mid-70s.
That reminds me of Maggie. What was the one?
With Schwarzenegger?
No. With
Mandy. With Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
I just rewatched that a couple of weeks ago. What a great movie.
The first time I watched it, I was kind of not into it, and then I rewatched it with an ex-girlfriend. Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big fan. Great soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Love the movie. But like 70s horror movies, because the 70s, I was still a kid then, and The Exorcist ruined me for 20 years. But a lot of great 70s horror movies, because it was a lot of folk horror. It was a lot of devil stuff. There was Salem's Lot. There was a Jodie Foster movie called The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane. A lot of great stuff in the 70s. But Race with the Devil is good. Because I like those horror movies that don't have a happy ending. And I think Race with the Devil was one of those movies. But because now it's like when they drop a horror movie, it's a ton of blood. It's a ton of, because it's a new, you kind of have to keep it ramped up for people who like that stuff.
Yeah.
So you have like Terrifier, and Saw 10 is out today, I think. There's a movie called Megalomaniac that I
still
think
never
is
seen it.
Swedish that's just bananas.
I still never seen any Saw movie.
Really?
No.
I've only seen, well, I've seen a couple of them. I saw the
You see
first
Saw?
one. Huh?
You seen Saw?
I saw Saw. I've seen Saw.
You see Saw?
See Saw.
See Saw all
Saw the
time.
first one because I think that's a modern classic. And I probably saw the second one, but I don't know that I've seen one since there. I didn't even watch that Chris Rock spinoff one. He did one called Spiral that they were trying to make a direct Saw sequel. And they were like, well, let's do something different. But I don't know if I didn't see that. Hey, Jeremy.
Mega dildos.
Mega dildos,
Hey, Bill.
Jeremy. What's going on?
Yo.
Thank you, sir. Hey, your show at the Agora in December, what's that, on the 22nd?
Yeah.
I've never been to the Agora. What's really to it? Like, am I going to get robbed on the way in there or something? I mean,
On the way in? No.
No, you're not going to get robbed. No,
It's right down Euclid.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
All right. It sounds like a good time. I mean, if you're anything like you are here on stage, I guess it'll be something. But I hear Mary's going to be there, so that should be interesting as well.
Mary and Martin Malloy, who was just voted, Bill. I don't know if you know this.
Best male comedian.
Best male comedian in Cleveland.
And he's
Scene Magazine.
fantastic. It's going to be a great show. And I don't think you'll get robbed.
I mean, I go to a lot of shows at the Agora. I've never had any trouble there,
Me either.
Jeremy.
Been going there for
Nice.
25 years. Never had a
Cool.
problem.
My mom died not that long ago, so I'm taking my dad.
At the Agora?
Yeah, right outside.
Oh, I was going to say.
Oh, I can see why you're so apprehensive now.
Yeah, he's got more info than we have.
But no, it should be a good time from what I hear. So yeah, I got my tickets and I'm ready to go.
Hey, man, I
Awesome.
appreciate that so much. Come find me after the show. I'll have a poster for you, and I'll meet your dad, and, maybe kiss him on the mouth. We'll see.
It's going to be a wild night,
You're more
Jeremy.
of a ring kisser.
Yeah.
What time, is it a couple different shows that you're doing? or what
It's
time
one
is,
show. It's one show. It's at 7
Right.
p.m. are the doors. Then the show starts at 8 p.m.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. There's Jeremy plunking down his hard-earned money and taking his dad.
Makes me feel very appreciated.
There you go.
The ticket sales have been good so far. I mean, we still got months and months, and they're moving. So we like this.
Have you seen the flooding in New York City? Those massive storms that are
I
coming
saw it
through?
on Twitter.
Yeah, there's like video of one of the airport terminals at LaGuardia flooding, and people are like running, trying to get out. It's wild. Well, I hope that their advertising campaign is come one, come all. Now that Durex is offering custom fit condoms.
What? How?
They've done a lot of studies and surveys and polls, and they say that a lot of guys, again, I don't know how this is a
Alan,
thing.
This just creeps me out because I think of the condom being like the shoe in Back to the Future, where you put it on your D
And it goes,
and you can't get it off.
It's like a Reebok pump.
I
You
don't
put
like this. Like, it just sticks there. It's like, I'm not done with you yet. Time to extract.
Well, they it's not an AI condom, I mean, but they always whip out this statistic that guys are buying the wrong size condoms. Except unless you're buying Magnums, condoms are all pretty much one size already.
And
So
even Magnums actually aren't much bigger.
Right. It's more marketing than anything else. So what those surveys tell me is that there's a lot of guys buying Magnums. They're not buying regular ones. But anyway, so Durex has said, well, we've got something that's going to fit everyone. And I think by that they mean, yeah, you dudes that are a little smaller, this is going to be for you.
So you got a friend.
So they call them regular fit, which is kind of insulting. I mean, for, you know, users can select the thickness so you can kind of customize these. You can tailor how much lube you want on them.
Nice.
You can also buy their new nude condoms, which are very, very thin. 65 micrometers for you science nerds.
There you go.
Yep.
I was whipping out my micrometer when I'm.
Honey, I'm buying
measuring
rubbers.
this. Yeah.
Can you bring my micrometer?
Sure you
I don't
know
have
how to
any.
use a condom, rubber, a raincoat, a boner bucket, party hat, squirt skirt, love sock.
So I guess you get on Durex.com and you start building your perfect boner bucket. So, yeah, listen, everything now is customizable.
Mm-hmm.
People are getting used to it. There's nothing that they want to get. You don't want to be buying your condoms off the rack.
Do they make it for like guys that have weird shapes? Like if you have like the,
Corkscrew.
like the real narrow at the top and then the fat base.
Like a traffic cone?
Yeah. Or they got like a
The chicken bone. Where it's-
chicken bone. What's a chicken bone?
Or it's real wide at the tip and
Yeah, you got-
skinny in the middle?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got the mushroom tip. Yeah.
Or just straight up chode. Just
Gross.
the old tuna can.
They all
I don't mind a tuna can.
tuna can.
You don't mind a tuna can.
They offer a close fit condom that has a 2-inch circumference and a wider one that goes all the way to 2.2 inches. So, yeah, break out your micrometer and you can decide how thick you want it. Extra thin, standard, or thick. That's like ordering a steak.
I just
Wow.
need condoms. Like it's
Huh?
Medium rare, please.
like I've got.
My condom use is medium rare, ladies.
Because I want it pink.
Yup.
I don't have any preference on condoms just because I get so many random ones. Like I get them from parties, I get them from clubs.
Oh, maybe if you got a custom one, you'd
Yeah.
really start to enjoy them.
Maybe you could have your face put on them and just hand them out. Right? If you can customize the condom, I don't know why they wouldn't let people customize the packaging.
It's just more expensive, and I don't need all that.
Yeah, but it's worth the money.
Most of the condoms I get, they're free.
Yeah, but those are the bad ones.
Those are yeah.
Those are the ones that break all the time, or they just don't.
Those
They're
are
not like lubed up
those
or
are
anything.
novelty condoms.
Yeah.
Those are not, it's not top of the line. You should get over there
They
to
ain't for
Durex.
serious business.
That's right. So I can't believe it took them this long. Really got one over on the Trojan people. They said most guys are not suited for what is readily available. That's really a passive-aggressive way of saying that a lot of guys are too small for regular condoms, because it sure as hell ain't the guys are too big for regular condoms,
Right.
because the Magnums are already out there.
Listen, you don't know how tall 6 foot is. You definitely don't know how long 6 inches is.
So it's a brave new world. And, ladies, your boyfriend, your husband, you know that equipment as well as they do. And if you're still in, probably more for boyfriends than husbands, but, you can be out there customizing their Jimmy hats. There's luxury condoms. It's a wide array now. I read these articles about parents that are all pissed off because there are some grocery stores that will have pharmacy items up at the front. They've added them to the impulse items, and sometimes that includes condoms, which wouldn't be on any kid's radar unless their mom was pissing and moaning about it. You just do back in the early days, if you really didn't have a lot of money, it was really simple. You bought a pair of dish gloves, cut all the fingers off. You got 10 rubbers.
No one did that.
What? Pardon me, I did that, and they never broke. Now, I wasn't getting any, really, when I was in high school, so I had those for a long time. But listen, luxury items come in all shapes and sizes. When you become a certified personal trainer, Poundcake, these custom Poundcake rubbers, those are going to come in handy. That's going to be a great calling card, by the way. You just throw some, it's got your info on the back, your stats, whatever you want.
My stats.
Yeah.